want Mr. Ferris.
So make sure your lights are green whenever you're talking.
Okay.
It's green.
There you go. Now, there's a limit, I think, of 6 or 8 that can be on at a time, so I think you'll all be fine. I think we should be.
There's a 6-second delay.
No.
He was saying active mics all on at once. There's
Yeah,
some
6.
Okay, 6, okay.
If it's 8, we're for sure fine. Since there's 7 of us.
All right, you should be good.
We're good. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the year 2024. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody had a good holiday. And we are holding a first of the year educational organizational meeting of the agenda for the Board of Directors. It's a short agenda, so we'll kind of blow through it pretty quick, I think. We'll just go ahead and get started here. So I'll call to order, and I'll begin with Pledge of Allegiance for everyone. If you'll please rise. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's start with the roll call then. Mr. Hostetler.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mrs. Ross.
Here.
Mr. Passarelli.
Here.
Mr. Lowry.
Here.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Here. And moving on. We're going to begin with subject matter election of officers for the year 2024 for the school district. And this is something that we do every year at this time. It's being done all around the state of Ohio, so pretty customary. And so what I would like to do is ask for a motion from the board to elect a president, and then we'll come back and do another motion for vice president, I believe. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion to make Mark Fairhurst president of the board.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Second. Mr. Hostetler?
Okay. Mr. Passarelli.
Yes.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. Thank you. Next piece of business is to make a motion for vice president for the board of directors. And do I hear a motion from our group here?
If this is how it's done, I'll motion for Mike Passarelli to be the vice president.
I'll
Second.
And second. Mr. Hostetler?
Yes. Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. Thank you very much, and we'll keep going forward. And so recommendations of the Board of Education. Line of business is the establishment of the monthly meeting schedule for the calendar year 2024. And the recommendation is establish the regular meeting schedule for the entire year. Board of Education will meet at 6 p.m. on the third Wednesday of each month. Location of the meeting will be in the community room at Tallmadge High School, where we are this morning. Additional indoor meetings changes will be posted on the Tallmadge City website and social media feeds with additional notice made to the Akron Beacon Journal. The dates are listed, I believe, up on the board. They are not. Do I need to list them? Do you have them? I guess a live stream, we should go ahead and list them. So January 17th, February 21, March 20, April 17, May 15, June 19, July 17. August has 2 meetings. There's an August meeting for the 2024-24 school year kickoff. We wanted to have kind of a semi-quasi retreat, get together as a board, be sure we're all on the same page with the administration before teachers show up, before the students show up, everybody knows what's going on, and we feel it's to our benefit to be on top of everything going on before the year really begins. And then following that up at August 21 with that normal customary board meeting, followed by September 18, October 16, November 20, and December 18 to end the year. And then we'll do this all over again. So it'll be an exciting year. So are there any, do you have any comments on this? Are you okay with the administration, what's been laid out?
Wednesday works really good for the school district. I think traditionally, we've always done Wednesday, and part of it is to sync with the city, because the city tends to have their meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they do a good job of not scheduling their meetings on Wednesdays, so kind of Wednesdays is reserved for the schools. So I think that works out really well. And then I do like the idea, and Mr. Fairhurst and I spoke about this yesterday, I like the idea of the August 7th, kind of a meeting. For folks that have been on the board, you know we always tend to have special meetings or around that time of year anyway, because there typically is some hiring and things we need to do to get ready for the school year. And there actually is a pretty big gap between, happens just the August board meeting this year is the latest it could possibly be, the 21st. So with that large gap between the July meeting and the August meeting, I like the idea of putting one right in the middle there. So not only will that be a chance to share with the board priorities for the school year, it'll also be a chance to do any last-minute hirings and preparation for the new year. So I like this schedule and recommending it to the board.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on it? We're good. So I have to have a motion for this. Somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Hostetler?
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on. Establishment of a service fund. These are dollars that are usually held in a special account for the board. And there is an attachment that goes along with this. It's short, so we'll go ahead and read it real quick. It's the whereas the Ohio Revised Code provides for the setting aside from the general fund a sum not to exceed $2 per child enrolled or $20,000, whichever is greater. Such sum of money to be known as the service fund to be used for the following purposes: expenses for the members of the board actually incurred in the performance of their duties or of their official representatives when sent out of the school district. Flowers, decorations, special school functions, example, graduation, employee recognition dinner, awards, gifts, honorariums, expenses incurred by members of the board when attending school district functions, any other expenses related to school district operations or activities are deemed appropriate by the board. And so therefore it's resolved that the Board of Education, Tallmadge City School District does hereby establish a service fund, such fund to be set aside as an account within the general fund, thereby hereby appropriated for the purpose of the said service fund of the sum of $15,000, which amount shall be incorporated into the appropriations of the school district for the fiscal years 23-24 and 24-25 as it extends over through the school year. I think we need a motion for that, for the $15,000 to be set aside.
Ask a question first.
You have to vote on it first, I believe.
You move on it, and
Move on it, then we
Second,
can
then
discuss it.
questions, sure.
So,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
I'll second.
And are there questions or discussion?
How does this compare to previous years? Is this the same amount?
Mr. Hostetler, about the same
Yes.
amount, right?
Yeah, we set it the same amount every year.
And how does the $2 per student apply to this 15,000? Is it close to that amount?
No.
For us, Tallmadge, it would be $5,000, so that's why they give you the range
Sure.
of up to $20,000 maximum. So just, so for Tallmadge, you could go as high as $20,000. I'm sorry. You could go as high as $20,000. I think I'll let Mr. Hostetler comment on historically how, I think we don't spend this money.
Yeah, we don't spend that much.
That's what I
The bulk
thought.
of the monies that are set aside for board are the professional development at the Capitol Conference. And there are other meetings that some board members choose to attend, but we don't hit the 15,000. I can't remember any year that we've hit the max, so. It's just a safe amount to set
Sure.
aside.
Yeah.
I think it's just important for the board to really realize this is there for you. Number one, like if you travel on board business, it should not come out of your personal pocket, you know, and I know that's a habit that a lot of our board members have is they feel like they feel bad asking for the district. But if you go to a professional development or legislative meeting, you know, that's something you should be reimbursed for in your time. We also use it for, unfortunately, when, a staff member or family member passes away, the board will buy flowers, things like that. I will say that other districts do a lot more with this than Tallmadge historically has, in terms of using it in ways. So that's something the board may wish to consider doing more recognition or, buying lunches for people once in a while to recognize them for something. I mean, that's the sort of things the board could use this money for.
Yeah, I'd love to discuss doing that more as a
Yeah.
board. Yeah.
So maybe at the next work session, we talk about if we're using it wisely as well as we could, and if there's other things we can do to benefit ourselves to in turn help the school district. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay. So we have a motion, we do have a second, and discussion is done. Mr. Hostetler.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. That closes out that section. The next one is authorized administrative duties. The action is to authorize administration, our partners over here, to continue the operations of the Tallmadge City School District per the attached resolution. In other words, we want to be sure you have the ability to run the business, keep school going, money in, money out. And it's a rather long resolution. I don't know, has everybody read the resolution? You've seen it? Is there any reason to read through this for us at this point? Okay. Then I would ask, before we ask for a motion, Mr. Hostetler, are there any highlights, high points in this that you'd like to point out to us?
Not really. It's just actually day-to-day course of business. Making minor adjustments within the appropriations within the fund. We appropriate by fund. This allows the adjustments within the fund. Anything fund to fund would take board action. Buying supplies, purchases of equipment and payment of bills, things that are day-to-day, basically.
Very good. With that, I would ask for a motion from the board.
Make a motion. I'll second.
No further discussion? We're good? Okay. Mr. Hostetler?
Mr. Passarelli.
Aye.
Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. Next subject, appointment of legal service firms. Recommended action, appoint the following law firms as legal advisors to the Tallmadge City School District on an as-needed basis at their usual and customary rate. Those groups are Brinsda, McIntyre and Seed, Ennis Britton Company, Squire Patton and Boggs, and Western Hurd. Additional firms may be used if appropriate for specific matters depending on what's going on at that particular time. And these are as I understand, these are all recognizable names to me. We have used them, asked them for help in the past years. The one that is particularly important to us is the Ennis Britton Company because they represent the board. These other groups, as I understand and have heard, they primarily are used for your benefit, teachers, administration, things that are going on. Is that correct? Maybe you could elaborate.
I think what you see here, so Ennis Britton is, yes, the board attorney, and then you also have, like Weston Hurd is who we use primarily for special education matters. There tends to be a lot of legal elements to running special ed in this day and age. And then You know, you also have here financial advisors to Mr. Hostetler, so in terms of legal ramifications of bond issues, tax collection.
Brinza McIntyre and Seed handle all of the property issues, the settlements of valuation challenges, those sorts of things, and there's some changes in the law coming for that area. So they keep an eye on all of the complaints that have been filed within the district, and they alert us, and we confer if we want to file a counter complaint and so forth. So they're very important to the operation of the district. Squire Patton and Boggs, they handle the, they just wrote the language for the ballot issues. They also handle an annual information update that's required because we have bonds that are out in the market. So there's an annual piece of that to do. So yeah, they're the specialties in that area.
Question. If we have a question, do we have to make a motion first, or questions are okay right now?
I think it's always a good practice to make a motion and then have the
First.
discussion, yeah.
Yeah, so let's, at least
yeah.
for the ink on paper right now, ask for a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Then we're open for questions and discussions, and I know Mike has one. Go ahead. I have one also.
My question is, we've used all of these people in the past? Okay.
Yeah, every year.
So there's nobody new on the list that we haven't used? Okay. The second one is one of these legal groups who we use for negotiating contracts, or do we do that internally?
We, the board attorney, John Britton from NS Britton is involved in all of our negotiations, yeah.
Okay.
It has been for many years.
Yeah, John's been the attorney here for forever. So,
That's
I don't, you know,
Predates
literally,
me.
There you go.
literally. And, you know, and John's, you know, he's very, very well recognized in the state of Ohio. He's trimmed the number of districts he works with, and Tallmadge is a favorite of his, so we're thankful that he continues to support our district.
Okay. Thanks.
I have a question, or, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was just curious, like, obviously we've worked with these law firms. We like our relationship with them. That's why they're up again, you know, whatever. How often do we look at other competing law firms and give some consideration to them? Are law firms allowed to approach us and say, hey, we'd like to be your, you know, like, how often do we shop this, essentially, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say, well, you know, the board could certainly shop it at any time. You know, I think these are very important partners and relationships to the district. They really are. And what you'll find is a lot of them, from a fee standpoint, end up being about the same. You know, they're all lawyers. So, I won't expand that on that. So,
nobody gets sued.
So I think for us, you know, having those relationships, folks that are very comfortable with the district, it reduces the amount of time to address issues and attack issues. So having that familiarity is very powerful. You know, the times we shop, so Weston Hurd, for example, Mr. Lowry, was new last year to us. So there was a situation where the prior firm decided to leave the special education business. So we went out and looked at who was available on the special ed side, and we had a very, very strong, had previous good experience with some of the folks that had gone to Weston Hurd, so we moved to them. So I would say, just in general, there's not a lot. You know, it's a relatively small group of folks that specialize in school law, and you know, when there's changes, we make them. And frankly, as long as these folks we're happy with their services, you know, I would tell you, we're really happy with these four firms, and haven't had a compelling reason to look elsewhere.
Right, and I was almost hesitant to ask the question because I don't want them to feel like want to get rid of you. I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like, how the process usually looks. Like, if there was a law firm, let's say we had a local law firm that we knew happened to be amazing,
Yeah.
right? How's that conversation start with if there would be any kind of, whatever?
Yeah, we
benefit
would,
to
we would, we would absolutely, if there was somebody local, if there was somebody in Tallmadge, we'd be already doing business with them. Frankly, that's the way we do things in Tallmadge schools. If there was somebody here that we think could support us, we would do it. I think, at this point, certainly if something triggered a change, we would look, or, frankly, if the board just met somebody, if you were at the OSBA, all these folks tend to be down at OSBA, and you have a good feeling about somebody, we're happy to take a look at others, or, Mr. Britton, for example, again, he's been here forever, so he's not 50 years old anymore. I won't tell you his age, but if John decides to trim his efforts further, we would, that's an example of one that we would shop, and I think probably will change within the next, certainly within the next decade, so.
And then how do you get that recommendation? So when you got the new Weston Herd, who did you reach out to?
We reached out to other districts who they were using. That was an example of the prior firm that we were happy with decided to exit the special ed business, so a lot of their attorneys fled to other firms. And some attorneys we really liked moved to Weston Herd, and that's really what attracted us.
Okay.
So it really comes down to individual attorneys, frankly, and who we have
Sure.
those relationships with, and that's where we came to Weston Herd.
Okay.
We also look, you will find these are the same names you'll see other districts using as well. Every other district in the state of Ohio today is, or not today, but right now with their organizational meetings is doing this same exercise.
Right.
And you'll see these names over and over and over again, because there's only a small group of excellent firms, and that's where we come to this. So,
Good. Last question. Received a letter recently from a group called People Wagner, Attorneys at Law. Is this any part of what we're just discussing?
no, I have not read that. I know that
Okay.
was addressed to the board, so I don't know what that was about. Pebble Wagner is a strong, another good firm that other districts have used.
Okay, all right, so we could, we'll talk about this after the meeting then, if that'd be appropriate.
Yeah, again, I don't know what that
do it
letter's
now
about,
because
so,
it's
yeah.
Too much information, so we'll pick it up later. All right,
Okay.
very good, thanks. We've already had a motion and second, and so Mr. Hostetler.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli,
Aye.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. Next up, subject, advancement of taxes. Recommendation is recommended that the board authorize the treasurer, Mr. Hostetler, to request tax advances from the county auditor as outlined in the attached resolution. Once again, I will ask, have you all read the attachment? You're comfortable with what's there? This piece, once we approve it, or whatever our action is, needs to be signed and returned to them. And so we've all read it. I will ask for a motion for approval then.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion, questions on anything? We're good?
Do you want Jeff to go over sort of the purpose of it?
I was going to ask him to kind of hit the highlights once again for us.
Yes, this is a legal requirement that the county asks all the boards of the taxing entities to pass the resolution. As you know, taxes come out in January or early February, but aren't due until March or April, and there are monies collected throughout. And this allows us to request the monies that the county is holding before the due date, and they make usually 3 or 4 advancements every other week through the process of what they've collected for us. So it allows us to get the money in sooner, allows us to make some investments on the money, and have it to operate. Many districts who are tight financially rely on the advancements for cash flow. So.
Thanks. Anything? Good. We've made a motion on this.
Mr. Pastor, Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Ferrers.
Aye. Next up, Board of Education Policy Manual. Recommended action is to reaffirm the present Tallmadge City School District Policy Manual. And I will ask for a motion.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any questions, discussions?
I've not seen it.
I was going to say, I wanted to ask, is this similar to what we had just seen?
Well, this
previous
is the board
meetings?
docs. This is the
This is the
policy
board
manual that's
doc.
on board docs. So you guys, the board did a significant amount of work right there
Right.
at the end of the year to update all of the manuals.
But
So
this is
this is the,
that product?
Yep,
Okay,
this
so
is
we
our-
have seen it, okay.
our
very good.
Tallmadge School Board Manual, which is the board policy manual, which accompanies the meeting agenda on on board docs. So it enables you to check each one.
And so what time period would this be for, as we affirm it for the?
We're just reaffirming it to start the new year. We would do this every year.
Correct.
Beginning of the year, just that
For the
is our
calendar
policy
year.
manual, yeah.
2024. The only thing I would ask is that we put that on there as a recommended action for calendar year 2024. Can we do that?
Sure.
I guess I have a question then. What if we didn't somehow have this meeting next January? Like wouldn't we want the policy to just be until we decide to change it, which we know will be a year from now, but I don't know why we would put 2024 on it if we would want it to technically be governing any actions until we decide we want to change it.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a legitimate question. I think you reaffirm it each year just to establish that the policy manual is still operable and still in play. And I don't know that you want to restrict it for '24.
Okay.
Because it's continuing,
All
unless
right.
changes are made,
It's a
just
living
continuing.
document.
Yeah, it's a sort of a formal resolution that just makes the public aware and you aware that, yes, the policy manual is there and it is the guidelines by which we operate.
Very good.
Since I'm on day 3, I'm going to abstain because I haven't read this.
You did not?
No,
You did not read it? You were?
Well, it's not in the attachments on the board docs, or I would have read it.
On the board docs, if you go like welcome meetings policies, the policy manual's there. It's all the ones we've made amendments for.
Okay.
But that's okay. If you've not read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's fine.
perfectly acceptable. and
Yeah.
That's a perfect answer, so we appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then, Mr. Hostetler.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Abstain.
Mr. Passarelli,
Aye.
Mr. Ferrers.
Aye. Thank you. Next, we have legislative liaison for the OSBA. We're kind of winding this down here. The recommendation is to appoint a board member to serve 1 year as a district legislative liaison to the Ohio School Board Association. Just add to this, this is something that I had done for the past several years. Really enjoyed it. It's very eye-opening, and just really did enjoy that. So I need to ask, is there somebody here on the board who would be interested? Is there somebody, make a motion for someone?
I'll make a motion for Chad to be our legislative liaison.
What, Chad, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And I would second
This is
it.
not new, but thank you.
excellent, excellent. All right,
I
very
appreciate it.
good. Any questions about anything? We're good? Discussion? Mr. Hostetler?
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli,
Aye.
Mr. Lowry,
Aye.
Mr. Ferrers.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
You can have a monthly report.
Excellent.
A monthly report. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Could you? That'd be great.
You'll enjoy that a lot. So we're coming around here to the end a little bit. We have recommendations of the treasurer. Do you have anything magical to share with us other and beyond what we've already talked about?
No, not at this time. We adopted the tax budget in December, and we have the regular meeting coming up in January, so nothing more from.
Thank you very much. Superintendent, Mr. Wood, anything new, exciting?
Well, I'll just jump ahead, because there won't be any personnel items either, Mr. Fairhurst. But one thing I was just thinking about for the board, and I was just really asking for maybe a board member or two to help with, I was looking at our Board of Education website. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you got your faces up there and bios and everything. But I was looking at some other districts and how they organize their Board of Ed website, and I think ours could be a lot nicer, a lot easier to follow, and also help the public understand the role of a board member. And I think that would be helpful to you sometimes. So when you're having conversations with citizens, so they understand, what a board member does and doesn't do. So I was asking for, maybe one or two representatives to help help Kelly and Kurt Gwynn kind of update. Here's the website. Help update the Board of Ed website. To make that happen. Is anybody interested in helping out?
I think that's a really good recommendation. We've talked about that. And anybody interested in helping?
Great.
Jen? Anybody else? Good? We put it all on your shoulders?
I can help her.
We'll let Jen represent, and then we'll get you.
I've seen a couple
Mrs.
others.
Ross,
I
I'll
can help.
send you some other districts, what they do, and get you some ideas for what might make sense. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
I agree. It'll
Yeah.
help us and explain to the community more what's going on, so. We don't need a motion for that. That's just
No.
a discussion, and
Right.
we're good. Okay. I don't know if we have any new business to bring to the board outside of working on a website, maybe. We're good. Informational reports, I don't see any necessarily. Communications, let's see, public comment. We don't have any public here today, so we're good to go. And I'd say the only other thing to ask for is an adjournment. Need a motion for that from someone.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Hostetler.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Lowry.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross.
Aye.
Mr. Passarelli.
Aye.
Mr. Fairhurst.
Aye. With that, we're closed. Thank you so much for the first board meeting of the year. We did well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.